Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to finally be uploading new content, and I'm gonna try to keep up as we go. So today we're going to be talking about something that is very personal to me and is very dear to my heart, because I am an immigrant as well to the United States, originally from Cameroon, West Africa. So today we're going to talk about how to overcome the immigrant mindset, right? This is something that over the course of time I have really noticed a pattern of similarities in how we think in America. Like, being immigrants in America, we have certain things that we deal with in general that kind of prevents us from either walking in our purpose, or like I talk about, starting that business that has been in our heart for a long time, or you know, just doing a lot of things that we know that we could do. So from talking to many people who are from different countries and really seeing how we operate in the business world, or we operate in monetizing our talents, or how we carry ourselves in business, I really believe that there's such a thing as an immigrant mindset. Just as much as, you know, we hear African Americans say all the time that some black people have the slave mentality. I really believe, and being an African, I can really speak as far as Africans are concerned. Africans in the diaspora really have an immigrant mindset. And what exactly is that? An immigrant mindset is this fear that is created because we feel as though, since we're not in our motherland, we're not in our various African country, and because we're in a foreign land, there's certain limitations to what we can do. And so it really puts a spirit of fear in us to really try to set our goals too high, because deep down, even though we may talk, it's not that we don't really dream, or we don't talk a good game or talk about our dreams and aspirations, but deep down, unconsciously, for a lot of us, and I've gone through it myself, for a lot of us, the thing that may be stopping you from really starting that business, from really walking in what God has called you to do, starting that, that purpose, business or ministry, whatever it may be, I have noticed that there's a pattern of fear. And we know that God did not give us a spirit of fear, and definitely fear is one of the foundations that will stop you from moving in purpose, that will stop you from accomplishing a lot. Fear is a very serious thing. So it's not something to really downplay. Now, the immigrant mindset is a mindset that a lot of Africans carry in the way they run their business, in the way they brand their business, in the way they talk about their business, in the way that they actually even start a business. The number one thing, like the number one common I would say habit or character or trait that I find common amongst Africans that have that fear, have that immigrant mindset, is most of the time the reason why a lot of Africans actually choose to do business back in Africa first before doing business here in America is because that we feel as though, because we have made it in America, we are what is the word, inferior, or if we start a business back home in Africa first, then it would automatically work because we're at a higher position, we're more respected, people in Africa look up to us, and so we feel like that business has more advantages working in Africa versus working here in America, because here in America we are, we're the little fish in a big pond. And so in America, there are limitations, and we may not make it. In America, it's more risky. And so back home in Africa, let's ship containers worth of stuff. Let's spend tens and thousands of dollars in starting a business in Africa instead of starting it here. And I'm not against doing business in Africa. I don't want Akon sending me an email talking about, so I'm not talking about being anti starting a business in Africa. I think that there's a lot of money to be made in Africa. I think that we can definitely help those in Africa build more jobs, make more jobs available by doing certain things in Africa. But after years of watching family members, friends, people that I come across, I have noticed that 90% of the times businesses that are started overseas in Africa fail. Now, those that have eventually made it, the percentage is so low. But for the most part, it has cost a lot of people a lot of money. And the reason is that you're not there. Now, it's just common knowledge that at least if you start a business here and you invest your time and your presence, then it has a higher rate of actually being successful than if you are investing in a different location, wherever it be. It may not even be in Africa, wherever. If you're investing your money somewhere where it's dependent on you having people in that area to run the business for you day in and day out, to count your money, to handle all of that, it's way more risky, and a lot of people have lost money, and some people actually continue to lose more money because they still have that immigrant mindset. That's my belief. I may be wrong, but that's my belief based on what I've seen, is that a lot of people feel as though because it's Africa it should work, and things have changed. I mean, back in the day, maybe the percentage was a little bit higher, but now with social media and other investors coming into Africa, it's not an easy thing where all you have to do is save your money, ship a container, ship cars, or buy and sell or import, export, whatever the case may be, and it must work, because as long as it's made in America and as long as it's coming from America, people are gonna buy it. That is totally false. Nowadays, Africans are exposed to things that are in America. Shipping has even evolved. I mean, there's pretty much everything. They're exposed to pretty much everything that we're exposed to here in America. So to me, the number one reason that I find that people do it is because that they really have an immigrant mindset, where it makes them believe that if they do it where they're from, then they have a higher chance of making it back there, because they're familiar with that environment, they're familiar with the people, they feel like the system will be more accepting, they feel like, you know, they're familiar with the system. But it really is totally false. And I cannot stress it enough. I strongly believe that before you start a business back home, whether it be Africa or any other country that you may be from, I believe that you have to first of all start a business where you are. Start, unless it's some rare project where it's an investment deal, where maybe you're investing in a company back home that is already making money, that's already in business, that already has a structure, and you're just an investor, then that may be a little bit different. Or maybe it's buying land or buying property. That's a little bit more better. But anything as far as buying here, selling, importing, exporting certain things because it's from America, you really should consider starting here first. I tell people, start a business here in America. Let that business be at least successful to a certain point. Learn some things about business, learn some foundations about business, and then carry that and replicate that in whatever country that you want to do, whatever your home may be, or whatever the case may be. You can replicate that structure in another business, because by then you know about what kind of team you're looking for, you know what kind of hires to go with, you know what kind of products that you need, you know what kind of systems you need, because you have firsthand gone through the experience. Now it's something that you really have to deal with. You know, some people might not accept it. They may feel like, well, they talk the talk and walk the walk. But I promise you, we as immigrants, when we come here, especially when your papers your immigration status are not in order, if you're not a citizen, or you may not have your permanent residency or work permit, whatever, it really limits us in our thinking. I have gone through it. I've had family members that they could not even dream until they had their immigration paperwork in order, which is totally understandable. But I still believe, you can dream for free. You can start a business without having, if you have your social, you have your work permit, you can start a business. It doesn't stop you from starting a business because you're not a citizen or you're not a permanent resident. It doesn't even stop you, even if you're here illegally or whatever the case may be. I mean, let's be real, let's be honest. It doesn't stop you, because they are definitely, it's something that it's a personal, it just depends on, you will have limitations, of course, depending on what your status is, but it doesn't stop you from actually starting a business. And you will be surprised how you could come up with ways to actually run a business. That's where collaborating with somebody who's a citizen or collaboration comes in very high. If you're somebody where you just have your social and you just have your work permit, then you start a business that could really potentially be very successful. All you have to do is partner up with somebody who's a citizen and have them have their names on the paperwork, have them partner up with you and be a partnership and have their names on the paper. A lot of people do that, even people like Caucasian people that are American citizens still do that for certain benefits. So why not? So I really want somebody that is really stagnant. My last speaking engagement that I had a lady in the audience that she said that she was originally from Nigeria and she's been here for a little bit for some time now, but there's just something in her that will not allow her to really walk in what she knows that she can do. She said back home in Nigeria, she was a hustler. She could do anything. She could sell anything. She used to sell cars. She had her own businesses. She had multiple streams of income. She was doing it all. And as soon as she got to America, everything just kind of got fuzzy to her. She couldn't really think. She feels discouraged. She feels like, she's not capable. She feels like people undermined her and downplayed her. So she has just really lost her self-esteem. She's lost her confidence. I mean, it was really hard, heartbreaking. And I could identify, and I'm like, that's just fear. Because a lot of times also when we as immigrants come in this country, it is really vital whose hands we come in and fall on, like who we first encounter when we first come into the country. Because I really believe that, all of us know that who you surround yourself by, who you're talking to, who's counseling you, who's advising you. A lot in my videos, I talk a lot about having wise counsel. And a lot of times, most people that come into the country, they may not even be coming with fear. They really may be coming with all your dreams and aspirations and things that they're going to blow out and do. And then they get here, and whether it's an aunt, whether it's a family member, an uncle, a sister, brother, cousin, mother, father, they literally tear down that dream by telling you, okay, now you're in the country, this is what you need to do. You need to go ahead and do your CNA certification. You need to be a nurse. Nursing is the way to go, or pharmacy is the way to go, or you need to go to school, and school is the only way to make this happen. And you can be making $100,000, $90,000, $70,000 a year if you do it this way, this way, this way. Don't do it. Don't dream. Don't talk about all that stuff. You're here to work. You're here to get your money right so you can help your family back home. And then they just put fear in you and limitations in you that limitations really germinate into your whole lifespan in the United States. Like who you encounter when you first come in the country is very important. So that person can make or break you, because if you come here, I've seen a lot of people that came here and they were creative back home, and they came here and ended up being unhappy nurses or CNA and be CNA's certified nurse assistant for 10, 15 years, unhappy, because when they came here, whoever they came to stay in whoever's house they were living in at the time told them this is the only thing they could do And you know, when somebody comes here in America and they're in a foreign land, they feel like they owe whoever they're staying with their life pretty much, because they're pretty much like, okay, they've been here before me, so whatever they tell me must be the gospel. And some people don't even do their research or go acquire knowledge or talk to other people to kind of weigh their options, because most of the time the person that they're living with kind of makes them feel like, I'm the only one that can advise you, I'm the only one that you should listen to. It's even worse if they brought you here, if they helped to bring you here, then they're the only one that can counsel you. So you kind of feel like whatever they tell you, whatever plan that they have for you is God's plan pretty much. And a lot of people are becoming, and it's not that they don't love you. It's not that, like I always say, I heard somebody saying it's the gospel. People can love you right out of your destiny. They can really love you out of God's will and God's destiny for you, because they love you so much. So because they love you, they're worried, they're concerned about your future. So go to school, go be what I tell you to be. Go be a nurse, go be a pharmacist, a doctor, whatever the case may be. And that's the way to go. And that's it. Case closed. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to nobody. They didn't bring you here. They didn't invest in bringing you here. Don't listen to anybody else, because America, you know, put your head down, focus on your book, focus on your job. Just put your head down, mind your business, and just, you know, that's it. And I know a lot of African Americans can relate to this, because their parents or their family members too have probably told them similar things, where it's like, hey, keep your head down and focus on what you're doing and exceeding your grades, or, you know, go get that job and work your job, work your way to the top, whatever the case, you know, and so forth. So I just wanted to say that it can really tear somebody apart. It can really tear somebody apart. So really, for those of you who've been in the country for X amount of time, really examine your reasons as to why you do what you do. And even those that have actually started businesses here in America still have that African mentality, you know, still have that immigrant mentality, I must say, because in the way that they run, like I go to African grocery stores because of my business, my Puff Puff business. I deliver to African grocery stores all the time. So I could write a book about the characteristics of African store owners. I mean, that's a whole nother chapter for a whole nother day, because it's almost like they all read the same book. Very rare would you see an African grocery store actually acting outside of that immigrant mindset, because most of the owners is either, you know, for the African, sometimes when they do think about business and they're like, okay, I want to do my own business, it's either, okay, let's open a braiding shop, or let's open an African grocery store, or a mechanic store, like the basic where it's service based. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you carry that immigrant mentality into starting that business as well, you kind of are limited to what you do. It'll show in your customer service. It'll show in the products that you make available. It'll show in the services you make. Like, there's so much that can be done that a lot of African grocery stores don't even do, because they really have that immigrant mindset. So they don't even feel the need to provide you with good customer service. They don't. I don't understand, and we still keep going, because we still keep going. We are you know, it's limited, you know, so we still we're gonna get what we need. The braiding shops or whatever, because there's no customer service, or they don't really implement certain systems in place that could grow and scale that business. It's just a mindset like, keep your head down, okay, open your braiding shop, have your braiders, people call to book appointment, or they'll walk in, that's it. And that is it for the next 10 years. That is it for the next 5, 10, whatever. That's it. That's it. Just keep your head down, focus on, okay, you got your business, great, let's go. There's no growing the business, because I strongly believe that, you know, a gift or a business can have many legs. It can have many services. Like, there's no reason for you to just do one business and it's just that one department and that's it. There's so much more that can be done with whatever business that you're already doing. Whether it's, if you're in, you own an African grocery store, a lot of stores, the Kroger's and the Amazon and Walmart's are doing the delivery or the free pickup. Implement that in your store, where you have an online store, where you have a pickup, where somebody can, mimic those things that the American stores are doing. But we're not doing it because we have the immigrant mindset. And so it makes us feel like, okay, only Walmart and Kroger can afford to do that. Only Amazon can do that. I'm just going to buy and sell. All I'm going to do is buy and sell. That's it. And that's it. We get stuck in one thing. It's like we only see one thing. I have a friend of mine who started a marketplace for African products, and she was just complaining to me how she's bringing so much business to this store where she goes and buys her food products to ship to her clients for her online business, and they don't give her a discount. They don't have a system set up to really cater to her. It's just like she doesn't matter. Mind you, her business is really growing, so she started going to a farmer's market that has her products, and the farmer's market approached her and offered her a wholesale account that they could work with her on a discount, whatever she needed. They really catered to her. Now, where is she going to go? She's going to go to the farmer's market. Now, why did that African store not pick up that, hey, this could be a potential new source of income if we created a wholesale account for people that may be doing, because online business for African product is really booming. I've seen quite a few platforms that are doing that. You pick that up and you create a department just for that. That, hey, if you come to our store, we'll give you X amount of percent, a discount. We will do this for you. We can drop off, pick up, whatever the case may be, to make it more conducive. So braiding shop, the same thing. At this day and age, there shouldn't be any shop, like there shouldn't be any braiding shop that doesn't have a booking system in place. Like, there is a million gazillion platforms that offer booking systems. Some are free to use, so there should be no reason why a client has to call to get your prices, or they have to walk in to get a quote. Like, there should be no braiding shop that doesn't have a website and a booking system where it's easy to go. You should have a uniform for your stylist. You should have a system for your braiders. A client should not be sitting down waiting for your braider to finish what they're doing to come. You should have policies in place for your braiders. It shouldn't just be, oh, they can braid and that's it. There should be systems set in place. Customer service has to be set in place, because then just from braiding, you can have a product line. You can have braids, beauty products. You can sell products in the store. You can expand. Even if you wanted to create a mobile department like we do at Mobile Beauticians, where we're strictly mobile, you can see that, oh, people are working. This is something that is coming up. Why not create a mobile department that does appointments at client's house, even for an extra fee? So there's so much, like the dimensions of the creativity is endless once you already have an established business. But we limit ourselves. Caterers, people that cook African food, that they cater at parties. Some of them, it's just limited to just cook well, put it in an aluminum, that's the right word, a foil tray. That's it. Deliver it. That's it. No, there's way more that you could do. There's a way that you could decorate your food and set up your food table. There's food festivals. There's American food festivals that you can go cook. There are people that do food festivals only and make their money for the whole year by just going to different food festivals, or not even food festivals, period, where people are going to eat and drink. People just make that their business to just go to festivals. You could do that as a caterer. Take your catering business to festivals. It's not just limited to Americans. It's not just limited to a certain group of people. You can do so much with it. You can start your own YouTube page, which a lot of people have done, but you can start your YouTube page and be an influencer. You can have your Instagram page, just more to it. Don't just focus on one thing because you have this mindset that this is the only thing I'm good at, and then you're catering just to Africans. Why not also try to cross the border, cater to Americans, offer dishes that would appeal to their palate, and reach out to them. I had someone that was trying to hire me to help them start their catering, their food business. And they came up with a great idea. They wanted to do catering. They wanted to do mixed two cultural dishes, like island and African together. And I was like, fantastic. So I gave her the suggestion, hey, instead of waiting for people to order or just people coming to your house to pick up their orders, why don't you make flyers, go deliver it to, be mobile, do deliveries, go do flyers and deliver them to office suites. Like myself, I have an office suite. I have neighbors in this office suite. It's probably a couple, like a couple. Go deliver flyers that, hey, during lunchtime, let me deliver lunch for you. This is our prices. Maybe you can do a subscription every month that people pay for their lunch for the whole month. And people are always willing to try new food, especially here in Atlanta. They're always willing to try something new. So expand your horizon outside of just cooking for that African meeting that always hires you, or cooking for only African weddings, or cooking for only, you know, death celebrations, and so forth and so on. So I really want us to get freed of that immigrant mindset that we can only do so much because we're not back home, or we can only reach a target market because we're not back. Go and get the knowledge. Go and seek the knowledge. Google it, talk to people, open up to people. You meet strangers that are doing something similar or whatever. You meet strangers, talk to people. You'll be so surprised the information that you gain. Even if you need money and you feel like, oh, you know, because I don't believe in the whole, I don't like, not that I don't believe, but I don't like using the excuse of because I'm black or because I'm African. Now, I do know that there are certain things that because I'm black and African, people may judge up front, but I don't let that set a limitation that because I'm black, I'm probably not going to get a business loan. Because I'm black, I'm probably not going to get this contract. Because I'm black or because I'm African, I'm probably not going to get this. You know, it comes to mind, but I cast that imagination away. And I at least try and take the risk. And if it doesn't work out, go on to the next person. So I really pray that somebody hears me and hears me well, and share this video with somebody. Share this video, because I think that if all of us can get that immigrant mindset, it will really open space in our hearts, in our minds, to really express ourselves, to do business well, to come up with strategies that works for everybody. You're in America. You came here for a reason. You came to gain a lot here. Your children are here. You have children here. You have family here. So you focusing all your eggs and all your finances in a country that you've left, and you may not have been there for years, or you're not going consistently. Now, if you wanted to do a business back home, then you got to move back home. It's that simple. If you really want to start a successful business, then you're going to have to either go back home for a period of time, or you're going to have to be traveling at least 3 or 4 times a year back and forth. And when you do the math just for your ticket alone, that's like 10 grand a year for you to go back and forth. And if you use 10 grand to start a successful business here in America, it will make more money, where even if when you start that successful business here in America, and then you start, branch off and do another business back home, even if you lose some money, it's not going to hurt you as much as you took all your savings, or you took all your tax refund and you just funded a business back home just because you felt like it was a great idea. And some people also just do it to show off. It makes no sense. I don't get it. Some people start businesses or build buildings back home so people can see that they're in America and they're successful, and then lose money. That makes no sense. Showing off is not, if it's that expensive, then I'm just gonna be right here, okay? So, you know, instead of spending that amount of money, start here, be successful here, learn the experience, and then you open a branch back home. That's what people do. That's how businesses, all successful businesses that are worldwide, didn't just start worldwide or start out of the country and then bring it. Like you start, and then one thing, when it works, you start adding it in a different state. You start like Uber or like any other business. They start in one state, and then, you know, the next state and the next state and the next state, and then eventually it was everywhere. So I say this to say that let's all really examine our hearts, examine our fears, examine what is really stopping us, and just really have faith in our gifts, have faith in whatever you could do well in Africa, you can do even more in America. I mean, if you were I don't care, a hair braider back in Africa, then you are like a super duper 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 hair braider in America. If you knew how to, you were a carpenter in Africa, you are like a super duper, I mean, because we're so creative, we're so talented, because we've mastered how to do things with our bare hands or with limited resources, then imagine using that same creativity, that same talent. And now in America, you have all the resources. You have endless resources to really add to that creativity. Can you imagine? Like, I can only imagine. And I'm speaking out of experience. So there is no reason for you to feel like you are only good enough, or you are really, really good enough just for your country, for where you're coming, for doing business back home, where you immigrated from. No. Whatever you use back home, whatever you did back home, I promise you, when you implement that here with the systems that are set in place in America, and the resources, the free resources, the preset resources, trust me, your business will stand out like it will stand out more than what people that are born here in America can accomplish, because there's a difference when we do it. When we're coming with the creativity, when we're coming, we know how to make something out of nothing. We know how to make something with limited resources. So we're actually at an advantage. So you should see it as an advantage that you did this back home. Bruh, I'm in America now. They have resources, they have online platforms, they even have free business support system in your county. They have a lot of things that are for free, that the government actually gives for free. They don't care where you're from, who you are, they're good. Just find the knowledge. And you have all of that, there's nothing stopping you. If you used to cook on the street back home, you used to fry puff puff, let me just say for example, back home you used to your mom and you, or whatever the case may be, used to make puff puff, sell puff puff on the street corners or whatever, and you came here, why don't you start a puff puff mix yourself? You got the best, you got the recipe, you already know you already know the logistics of everything. Or you could start your own puff puff cafe, whatever the case may be, you know? So don't let that limit you. That should actually let you know that you are at an advantage. And once that works here, then you use the resources here that you implemented with your creativity and with your talent, then you send that back home. So now you've taken a package from Africa, a talent, a creativity, the knowledge how to build something out of nothing. You bring it here, you add, you know, the layers of resources and branding and marketing and everything. Then you have a nice package. Then now you take that package and you ship it back home. And automatically, then that's like doing, what's it? Import, export of your gift, I guess. You import, does that make sense? I think it does. You import your gift, you package your gift, and you brand it, and then you export it back. And voila, you win on both angles. You're not losing this time. And even if you're losing, you're not losing that much. It's not losing anymore. It's you really just learning the market to see what will work. So let this please be an eye-opener for somebody out there. And again, I have courses available if you want to start your own food package business. I have my e-course on Udemy. I'll have the link below. If you haven't subscribed, do so. If you feel like somebody in your circle needs to hear this message, also go ahead and share this video. If you are on Facebook, which I'm sure most of you are, join our Facebook group. It's called Just Start That Business. On Facebook, it's a private group where we share information like this. You can go on my website, louisenunga.com. You can follow me on Instagram. All this information is on my Instagram page. So if you go on Instagram at Louise Nunga, you have all the links on my link tree over there to my e-course. I have a free e-course on how to make more money as a braider. I have my book, the link to my book. So I have everything. So make sure you follow me on Instagram to get all those links and information. So I'll see you guys on my next video. Ciao. Let's go make money in this 2019. I'll see you on the other side.